Hi, it's Lindsay Carlson here. We just had the theatrical release and eventually the home video release of M3GAN 2.0, the sequel to the film M3GAN. And because the sequel just came out, I thought this would be a good time to pick up the original film in 4K and go back and revisit that. So we're looking at the original M3GAN from 2023. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. I have previously reviewed M3GAN in its steelbook form. I'll throw a link to that up above if you want to go check that out after you're done watching this video. Cover art with our title character, and you have the unrated edition moniker there. This includes both the PG-13 theatrical cut and an unrated version. I'll talk a little bit more about those later. We get a digital code of the film. I already redeemed that, so don't bother trying. An ad for some other Universal releases on the back. We get the film in Blu-ray, and then we get the film on 4K as well. One thing I like about Universal is they actually put bonus features on their 4K discs, whereas a lot of other studios just relegate them to the Blu-ray, so hats off to Universal for that one. From James Wan, the producer of Annabelle, and Blumhouse, the producer of The Black Phone, comes a new, fresh face in terror. M3GAN is a marvel of artificial intelligence, a lifelike doll that's programmed to be a child's greatest companion and a parent's greatest ally. Designed by Gemma, a brilliant roboticist, M3GAN can listen, watch, and learn as it becomes the role of friend, teacher, playmate, and protector. When Gemma becomes the unexpected caretaker of her 8-year-old niece, she decides to pair the girl with a M3GAN prototype, a decision that leads to unimaginable consequences. Out there in the world today, there's so many people that are over-reliant on technology. I mean, they use their phones to go on the internet, they use technology and programs to educate their children. It goes to the point that parents and children alike are so excommunicated from the real world because they're obsessed with technology. And M3GAN is an interesting film because, while it's certainly a nice cross of horror and sci-fi, it sort of looks into that problem and shows just how over-reliant we as human beings are on technology, not to mention how it can go awry. When I first heard about this movie, it came out in January, which is usually the dumping ground for lame movies that were not good enough to put out during holiday blockbuster season, but M3GAN ended up becoming a surprise hit, mainly because the movie is actually good. The movie revolves around a young 8-year-old girl, Katie, who's sent to live with her aunt when her parents are killed in a car accident. And while her aunt is certainly not a great parent, she's a great roboticist, and upon talking to her niece, decides to build the perfect companion and something that can ultimately be used to sell at the toy company where she works. And it's not long before, needless to say, plenty of things go wrong. Let's just say M3GAN gets a little too overprotective and goes to extremes to make sure that Katie stays safe. There ends up being a bloody trail of corpses along the way, but there's also plenty of laughs along the way as well. The movie has a slightly campy, comedic tone about it as well, and I think the movie's all the stronger for this, actually. The end result is one of the most enjoyable and original horror films of recent years. I was afraid this was going to be some lame Child's Play knockoff, but producer James Wan and director Gerard Johnstone certainly find ways to make this character their own. And there's a lot of great performances in the film as well, although it's M3GAN herself who certainly steals the show and makes the movie her own. Needless to say, they brought the character back for a sequel, M3GAN 2.0. Although M3GAN 2.0 was released in the summer and faced a lot of summer blockbuster competition, so unfortunately, its box office and reviews were both substantially lower than the first film. I'll be covering the second film on this channel in the coming weeks. This includes both theatrical and unrated versions of M3GAN. The two versions of the movie are not overly different. The main differences between the uncut version and the PG-13 version: the uncut version has a few more F-bombs, most of which are courtesy of Gemma's boss, David, portrayed by comedian Ronnie Chang. And then there's a few more moments of violence. However, again, these are both pretty few and far between, and unless you've actually seen the PG-13 movie followed by the uncut one, I'm not even sure you'd be able to really pick them out. Picture quality on this disc is absolutely fantastic. This is a modern production that was beautifully shot. It looks very natural. The colors are strong. The black levels and shadow detail are strong. It's vibrant when it needs to be. This is a beautiful looking modern masterpiece as far as picture quality goes. No complaints here. For bonus features, we just get the same trio of EPK featurettes that was on the initial Blu-ray release, so not really anything huge worth reporting there. You might want to watch those once, but I don't really know if they're worth revisiting. M3GAN is certainly one of the more original films and characters of recent years, and I've certainly fallen in love with this character. And I like the sequel as well, even if a lot of people didn't. Again, I'll be covering that on this channel at a later date. M3GAN comes strongly recommended. The movie's a great horror film, a great sci-fi film, and certainly a great criticism of how people are over-reliant and obsessed with technology. How about you? Are you a fan of M3GAN? Did you have a chance to see this film yet? Pick up this 4K release? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm T. Carlson. See you next time.